It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. And now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from our studios in downtown Nashville. Heard broadcast over 760 AM WENO here in Nashville, 730 AM KQPN in Memphis, and of course, go to newstalk760.com, download the app. You can hear us from anywhere in the United States. And if you're on YouTube or Rumble, just type in the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. And we keep threatening, I think we're going to do this, we're going to be broadcasting on X because that's where all the action is here.
Good.
Crom Carmichael, the original All-Star panelist. Crom, it is, as always, a delight to have you here in the
Thank
studio.
you, Michael. I do want to emphasize something that you said in the introduction, and that is that the Michael Patrick Leahy Show is live, unlike the interviews of Kamala Harris by the mainstream television media.
They're not even, quote, as live. That's a term of media art.
Okay.
Which, when you say as live, you mean you record it just that day, you just edit it lightly for time, and then you play it in real time.
Right.
They're not even as live.
Right.
They're formerly live.
In fact, even when she does a live town hall, it's scripted. It's scripted.
We saw that clip.
Yes.
Of Maria Shriver, who sang, and she must have going. We have predetermined questions.
Yeah. We can't take any random questions from the audience because we've already prepped Kamala Harris on our questions. She's. I mean, it is breathtaking. You have to believe that these producers truly believe that Kamala Harris is so stupid that she cannot answer questions live. I mean, they must believe it because they have to program everything.
Well, what she gave away, and Maria Shriver probably should be smarter than saying this, but when she answered the audience question, said, "We have predetermined questions." The rest of the story is, which she didn't say, but which everybody thought, oh, Kamala Harris has programmed those predetermined answers in her head, and she cannot deviate from that. She can only regurgitate
which is
those.
Probably the truth. That's probably exactly the truth. And there's nothing that Maria Shriver is going to be able to say that would change that conclusion, because they won't take a question from somebody where they don't know what the question might be.
Would you like to hear a very bad joke?
Yeah, please. Yes, I enjoy bad jokes.
So that so-called town hall, do you know what it really was, Crom?
What?
Because it had Maria Shriver and Kamala Harris.
Right.
Also Liz Cheney, but let's focus on Maria and Kamala. It is the club of women whose husbands knocked up the nanny.
Well, there you are. There you are. There you are. Yes, there you are.
It's kind of a cornball joke.
Yes, it is, but they can empathize with each other.
Yeah. Okay, so speaking of a predetermined question and predetermined answer, so she was off the campaign trail yesterday after she went to her spa and had a little, relaxation.
Okay.
She apparently did some, I don't know if she went to a spa or not. But
I know you don't.
I couldn't resist.
Yes, that's right.
So, Crom, she had a couple of taped interviews, one with NBC, and, well, we've got a clip. She was asked a straightforward question. She did not give a straightforward answer about the health of Joe Biden. Here we go, clip 13.
Can you say that you were honest with the American people about what you saw in those moments with President Biden as you were with him again and again, repeatedly in that time?
Of course. Joe Biden is an extremely accomplished, experienced, and capable in every way that anyone would want if they're president.
You never saw anything like what happened at the debate night behind closed doors with him?
It was a bad debate. People have bad debates. He is absolutely...
But that's the reason why you're here, and he's not running for the top of the ticket.
Well, you'd have to ask him if that's the only reason why.
What do you think?
I am running for president of the United States.
Okay, that's enough. I just can't take it anymore, Crom.
Why do you think the questioner, and I mean, there's no, and I'm not trying to, I don't have a answer for this at all. Why didn't she say, but you're the one here running for president, rather than, and instead what she said, well, you're the one running for the top of the ticket. That's such a weird phrase for somebody who's running for president. But here's what's interesting to me about that. Many, many years ago, Michael, on the Teddy Bart Show, this is in 1994, the beginning of 94. 94 was a big political year here in Tennessee. We had 2 U.S. Senate seats up in that year because Al Gore's seat was up for a special election.
Bill Frist and Fred Thompson. And we had a governor's race between Don Sundquist and Phil Bredesen. And so it was a big, that was for an off-year election, there was no state in the country where things mattered more. And Tennessee at that point was trending from blue to red, but it was still, the legislature was still controlled by the Democrat Party. And would take, more than a decade for the legislature to become but supermajority Republican.
Yes, but the Democrats sent in a high Democrat Party official to try to help manage the 3 campaigns, and he came on the Teddy Bart Show, and he talked about his background and working with the Clinton campaign and all this other kind of stuff, and then he said that the Democrats have 3 great candidates and they're going to win all 3 races. And so all this, big puffery and all this kind of stuff, which is what you would expect. And he's sitting right next to me, literally right next to me, between Tommy Burnett and me. And so then Teddy, after the bottom of the hour break, he says, well, Crom, do you have some questions? I said, well, Teddy, I do. I said, Teddy, the most important thing to me, especially in the context of our guest's presence here in Tennessee, is does this person have good judgment? It's really the key to everything. Does this person have good judgment? I said, Teddy, have you ever met President Clinton? And remember, this is only 1 year after President Clinton had been inaugurated. So
and this was pre-Monica Lewinsky.
Yes. Oh, yeah. This is right after, within a year of him being inaugurated.
Right.
And so Teddy says, no, I've never met President Clinton. I said, well, I've never met President Clinton either. And I turned to him and I said, let me ask you a question. And I knew the answer because he had already said it, but I just wanted him to say it again. And I also wanted to irritate him just a little bit.
Whoa. Breaking news. Crom wants to irritate the host of a show?
No, not the host. This is the guest.
Oh, the guest.
This is the guest. And I asked the guest, I said, you said you worked on the Clinton campaign, and, good for you. For that, because President Clinton won the contest, won the election. And I said, but my question for you is this, because Teddy and I don't know President Clinton. We've never met him. And my question to you is, do you know President Clinton well? I mean, were you one of 300 people in the room? Or did you ever get to be one-on-one with President Clinton? Well, he had already answered that question. And he said, no, I was one-on-one with President Clinton a lot. He said, I was the lead guy on one of his 3 campaign teams. And so as the lead guy on the 3 campaign teams, I would pick him up and I would be with him one-on-one, 2 events and in between events. So yes, I know President Clinton quite well. I said, well, gosh, that is great. That is great. I said, let me ask you a question. Do you think that President Clinton, when he said he had smoked pot but didn't inhale, do you think he was telling the truth, or do you think under the pressure of the moment he fibbed a little bit? And he said, oh, I believe he was telling the truth. And I turned to Teddy and I said, Teddy, I now know whether this man has good judgment. I have no more questions.
Yeah, because he was obviously lying.
Yes, and that's kind of like what this thing was with this NBC person. Actually, I think she was trying to give Kamala Harris an out.
Yeah, and Kamala Harris is too stupid to take the out.
To take the out.
And that is the point of that story.
Yeah.
I agree. All right, speaking of Kamala Harris, I've got this other Kamala Harris story. It's a background story. It's not the McDonald's story. It's another story.
Oh,
you're going to love it.
Good.
Back after this. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy. He's Crom Carmichael, the original All-Star panelist.
folks, John Fredericks here for Freedom Alliance. Veterans are still struggling with the wounds of war. They came home with injuries that changed them forever. The flag-burning troublemakers in our streets remind me how fortunate we are to have patriots who served and fought, sacrificed, and never complained. We need to support them through organizations like the Freedom Alliance. It's Military Appreciation Month and time to support those who serve. Freedom Alliance is caring for combat veterans and military families. Combat veterans fought in the worst, most dangerous places on earth. Freedom Alliance takes them to nature's most relaxing locations so they can heal. Freedom Alliance gives injured troops mortgage-free homes, new cars, and all-terrain wheelchairs. For wounded vets, there's nothing like the stability of your own home, the reinsurance of a reliable vehicle, or the independence of a wheelchair that navigates snow, ice, beach, pasture, or most any terrain. Let's fight for those who fought for us. Go to freedomalliance.org/Godzilla and make a monthly gift that will improve the life of a military hero. That's freedomalliance.org/Godzilla. Make a contribution today.
If you're like me, most moms find it difficult to prioritize self-care. Hi, it's Colleen, Program Director at the John Fredericks Media Network. With the demands of programming 13 radio stations, it's easy to forget about the things I should do for myself daily. And that's why I started with our company's Women's Challenge with Native Path Collagen Peptides. It's affordable and convenient care in just 1 scoop a day. There are so many incredible health benefits like bone and joint support, metabolism booster, and hair, skin, and nail improvement. I like to take a moment each day to prioritize myself and indulge in the health-boosting benefits of Native Path Collagen Peptides. I love mixing it up with all the different smoothie recipes, too. Learn more about Native Path Collagen Peptides and read 7 important reasons why you should be taking collagen peptides at getnativepath.com/Godzilla. Prioritize your self-care with Native Path Collagen Peptides. Try it risk-free for as low as $21 today and get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
Target.com. Target.com is an online e-commerce tire retailer. We are here to serve the American public with the best possible customer service, the best pricing, and we make it extremely easy. We have many name brands and a lot of low-cost tires. The price is right, and it's easy. You go online to Target.com, TIREGET.com, Target.com. You go there, you put your zip code in, all the inventory displays right in front of you. You can call in for help if you want to. We'll help you get the tire that you need. But we will take the tires you buy and at no extra charge deliver them to the dealer right by your house where they will be installed at the market price. It's easy. The best price, the best service. Great people to deal with. Thank you for going to Target.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. In studio, original all-star panelist Carmichael Crom. You know, they say that the trick to becoming a successful politician is to learn how to fake authenticity, right? And in this instance, it doesn't really apply that way because Donald Trump is completely authentic.
Yes.
I mean, everybody knows the guy. He's been around for, 4 decades in the public eye. And everybody knows who he is. Mm-hmm. There's no surprises there with who Donald Trump is. Mm-hmm. Perhaps the most inauthentic candidate in modern political history is Kamala Harris.
In every sense of the word.
Mm-hmm. Now, we've talked about the whole McDonald's claim, her claim she worked at McDonald's, no proof, no evidence thereof. Mm-hmm. Donald Trump, being a marketing genius, really took advantage of that with his hilarious, working the fries and, the drive-through at McDonald's. By the way, the thing I liked about that, what I really thought is Donald Trump is a guy who, when he was growing up, and his father was a very successful real estate developer in the Queens and that area of New York, he assigned Donald to do a lot of these jobs. Right. And Donald did the jobs.
Right. He went on the job sites.
He was on the job site and he cleaned them up.
And he worked with, he was, as a teenager.
Yeah.
He tagged along with his father. Mm-hmm. And as he got older, he kept tagging along and kept doing things that required more responsibility. But he did, as a teenager, he did a lot of job site work.
A lot of the manual labor.
And he came to appreciate, and you're on to a great point about the Wall Street Journal tries to refer to Trump's his experience at the McDonald's. He said it's a nice photo op, and that completely misses the point.
You're on the same track that I am.
Yes, and Donald Trump appreciates people who work and produce things. Mm-hmm. And what I'm saying is that even if somebody in a fast food, if somebody's producing a fast food meal,
that's work.
That's work. He appreciates them for what they do, and that was, and you could tell he was actually enjoying interacting with.
Let me add to that, because this is the point that I was going to make. You're illustrating as well. So the thing that was incredible about that, the young man who was instructing him, I know you're thinking the same thing as I am. Probably 20 years old, maybe.
A little older.
Maybe 20, early 20s.
Yeah.
And he was, typical early 20s. He had like a scraggly beard or something.
Right, yeah.
But was a sharp kid.
Oh, yes.
And the kid was, and if he's in charge of teaching new employees how to work the fries,
mm-hmm.
he knows how to teach them how to work the fries.
Yes.
And what I thought was fabulous was the interaction between Donald Trump and this young kid.
Donald Trump took instruction very well.
See, this is my point. So the kid, he said, oh, okay, I understand how this is going to work. This kid knows his job.
Yeah.
This kid knows more than I do about how to do fries.
Yeah.
I'm going to listen to what this kid tells me.
Yeah.
And it was interesting to watch the think if you're the kid, right? The former and future president of the United States is coming in to learn how to cook fries, and I'm going to teach him.
Yeah, and then serve them out the window. And so what I'm saying is, it did two things. One, it called attention to Kamala Harris's fake story. It is let me say this: I would give 100-to-1 odds that it is a fake story, because Kamala Harris, if she wanted to prove that she worked at a McDonald's, all she has to do is go to the Social Security Administration.
Right.
And they would be able to produce the record that showed that McDonald's may not still have the record. I don't care.
Social Security will have
Social
it.
Security will, because they have to have it in order to calculate her Social Security payment.
Right.
So they have records of every payment that was received by them from the employer of any employee. So the record exists if she wants to prove it. She knows she didn't do it, and
that's why she's avoiding it.
And so Trump accomplished two things. One is he showed he appreciates people who work. And by the way, I'll tell you one of the really fun things to do. I eat at a Waffle House probably 6 to 8 times a year.
Only 6 to 8 times a year?
Yeah. When I
love Waffle House.
Well, I'm saying when I go in, I enjoy watching the short order cook.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's amazing, especially if it's busy. It's amazing how many different things they are cooking at the same time, and how they're able to get it off.
If you're a short order cook or a waitress or a server at Waffle House, you are hustling.
That's right.
You are working hard.
Yeah,
it's a long day.
Yeah.
And you're earning your money.
Yeah, that's right. And so Trump accomplished two things in that, and people who work appreciate that.
They do.
People who work, that resonates. And so that was a big deal.
Let me go on to the next topic here, which
please.
you may have seen. You read and often reference BizPac Review.
Yep.
This is a story actually first broken on the internet by a woman by the name of Laura Powell. The first news report on it came from the Daily Signal, our friends at the Heritage Foundation.
Okay.
But it was also reported on by BizPac Review.
Okay.
And it gets to the lack of authenticity of Kamala Harris.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the headline. I don't know if you've heard this. Kamala Harris accused of entering law school under a hardship program she didn't qualify for.
Right.
Had you heard this story?
Yes.
Vice
I have it
President,
in my
it's in your
stack of stuff.
See, this is why we get along.
Yeah,
so.
that's right.
Vice President Kamala Harris was reportedly admitted to UC Law School, San Francisco. They call it Hastings, is the College of Law there in San Francisco, under a hardship program that she allegedly didn't qualify for. The Legal Education Opportunity Program, quote, offers admission to approximately 50 high-achieving students each year, up to 20% of the class, who have experienced major life hurdles such as educational disadvantage, educational hardship, or disability. This according to a UC Law San Francisco magazine article published in 2018. The same report lists Harris as part of the school's class of 89 alumni who benefited from the Legal Education Opportunity Program. But according to Laura Powell, a civil liberties attorney, Harris is not disadvantaged. Quote, Kamala Harris's mother came from the highest caste in India, but by moving to the U.S. and Canada, obtaining a prestigious degree, marrying a future Stanford professor, having a successful career as a cancer researcher, and sending her daughter to private schools, her daughter became unusually disadvantaged? Question mark?
Yeah. Yeah, and her whole life is fakery. Now, and that's one thing that, irritates the left so much when Trump says, I'm very rich. Actually, what's so funny is he says he's very rich, and they tried to claim he's not as rich as he claims to be, which is,
yeah, it's crazy.
That is just so funny. And Kamala Harris, on the other hand, is trying to claim, even though she grew up in a wealthy household headed by two PhDs, her mother and father were both PhDs.
Yeah.
Okay. High income people, and she claims to be poor. So, in other words, it's.
So here's the article again. Laura Powell, the attorney, quote: In 2004, Kamala Harris's mother recounted to an LA Times reporter how she was taken aback when an educator did not realize Kamala came from a privileged background.
Yeah.
So she took advantage of this. She couldn't have gotten into Hastings otherwise, that law school, because her grades at Howard, apparently, according to reports, I know this will shock you, Crum.
Yeah, why don't they
weren't very good?
Yeah, now
release the transcripts.
Yeah, that's right. Now, I'm not going to claim that I made great grades at Vanderbilt because I didn't. Period.
But you passed.
Yeah, I got. I graduated. I graduated. And that is a fact. But if I'm not going to try to claim I had great grades.
I want to segue here from this reference to the Los Angeles Times reporter from 2004. Now, the Los Angeles Times is the big newspaper.
Yes.
In Southern California.
Yes.
They are very lefty.
Yes.
They have endorsed Democrat presidential candidates. Forever. For a
very long time.
Over half a century.
Yeah.
They made a big announcement yesterday. What was that announcement?
They're not going to endorse anybody, and that is either the publisher or the owner.
Yeah.
Who dictated that to the staff, and I would imagine the staff there is very upset that the owner of the paper, the grand poobah, in other words,
right,
the top person, is saying we're not going to endorse anybody because they cannot stand.
So I have a college classmate.
Okay.
Her name is Carla Hall, who is kind of the head opinion writer at the Los Angeles Times.
Oh.
She's a very nice person.
Okay.
And completely addled when it comes to understanding politics. Right?
Yeah.
Which is kind of fits.
Sure,
right?
Sure.
And the question is, I don't know if she's going to stick around there. Right, because
she's getting paid enough. It's tough. It's tough to leave in journalism. It's tough to leave a high-paying job and get another high-paying job.
I don't think
because that whole market is shrinking.
I don't think the Los Angeles Times is really paying. I don't think any newspapers these days are paying a lot of money.
Well, the top people. But your point's a good one, and it will be interesting. I'll say this: in the TV world, I'll guarantee you, the people in the TV world do what they are told to do.
Absolutely.
And they say what they are told to say. And if they don't, they do get fired.
There is not an independent thinking brain cell in any of the lead anchors these days.
No, not in ABC, NBC, CBS, probably MSNBC because they're owned by NBC, and probably CNN because they're owned by, what, Comcast?
Yeah, but there's just not a lot of independent thinking there at all.
No.
The only guy actually as a contributor who is independent, and he's just doing great, Scott Jennings at CNN. He's doing great.
Oh. And he's on their panels, and he is obviously free to say what he wants to. And
I promise you, after the election,
he won't be there.
He won't be there.
Yeah.
Crom, we'll take a break and come back with more. Rounding third and headed towards home. This edition of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show.
Americans, my good friends, I've known them for a long time, at D.T. McCall & Sons have the deal of a lifetime for you, and nobody knows deals like I do. That much I can tell you. Nobody knows deals like I do. The lumber yards, they can hit you with hidden charges for up to $200 extra. They'll charge you for cords and hoses and haul-offs. Your money goes all over the place and out of the state, and most importantly, out of your pockets. How do they get away with that? I don't know how they do that, but on day one, if you buy from McCall's, we are going to stop the hidden charges as soon as you buy it. D.T. McCall & Sons has locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, and they have been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years. Head to one of their stores today or check them out at dtmccalls.com. You're going to love it. Believe me. Impersonator
Michael
not endorsed.
Patrick
by-
Leahy.
When you look at Kamala Harris, you have to think of her in the context of an upgrade from Joe Biden. As a campaigner, Kamala Harris represents a greater threat to Donald Trump than does Joe Biden.
The Michael Patrick Leahy Show on the John Fredericks Media Network. Weekday mornings, 10 Eastern, 9 Central. You better listen.
I don't think anyone should take this threat lightly. Mutts Cuts Grooming. This summer, never leave pets in vehicles while running errands. Even with windows cracked, 80 degrees can shoot up to 120 degrees, causing heat stroke, dehydration, and even death. So keep pets hydrated, shaded in cool areas, or just leave them at home. That's from Kathy, Candy, and the staff at Mutts Cuts Grooming. The people with warm hearts for those with cold noses. For your pet's grooming needs, call 931-645-9220. That's 931-645-9220 for Mutts Cuts Grooming in Clarksville, Tennessee at 1479 Tiny Town Road.
Hey there, this is Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of The Glock Store. As a proud sponsor of this show, you may have heard Michael Patrick Leahy mention us a few times over the past 4 years. But today, it's me on the radio telling you how pleased we are to be associated with Michael Patrick Leahy and his dedication to the highest levels of professional journalism. Michael Patrick Leahy has been threatened with jail time in bringing the true facts about that Nashville Covenant shooting to his listening audience. Michael Patrick Leahy, you keep doing what you're doing, and we here at the Glock Store will keep sponsoring your show for the good of Nashville and the entire country. And I'm personally inviting all of your listeners to come visit and shoot at the Glock Store. It's where Michael Patrick Leahy learned to shoot a gun for the first time and where he bought his own personal Glock 19. I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of the Glock Store here in Nashville, just minutes from the airports, worth the drive from anywhere, and a proud sponsor of Michael Patrick Leahy and the Tennessee Star Report.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from our studios in downtown Nashville. We are joined in studio by the original All-Star panelist, Carmichael Crom. Election Day, 13 days from today. What is in your stack of stuff this morning?
Well, Michael, what's interesting to me is the Democrats seem to think that that they can persuade the voters that nothing in the past that they contradict happened. And it's really, it's fascinating. This was interesting. Waltz was on with Jon Stewart.
Yeah, we played that clip yesterday.
Okay,
and Stewart was just incredulous.
Yeah,
that now they want the fact that quote warmonger Liz Cheney is backing Harris is a good thing.
Right, and you and I've been saying isn't it odd that Taylor Swift and Dick Cheney could be endorsing the same person, and Tim Waltz actually brought up Taylor Swift. And Stewart said, "How many wars did Taylor Swift start?" In other words, it's fascinating. And then you have, it just.
By the way, just as an aside, you talk about, the endorsements. Really, the big endorsements coming from Kamala Harris are from Hollywood types, entertainment types.
They're just celebrities.
And what do they know about anything?
Well, they
know their business well.
They know how to act or they know how to sing.
Yeah.
And kudos to being a good actor or a good singer.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make you a good thinker. Elon Musk, on the other hand, has built tremendous enterprises. So I'd rather have Dave Ramsey. I'd rather have them endorsing me.
Substantive people
yeah,
with business success,
yeah,
and common sense are the ones endorsing Donald J. Trump.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, but this one, Obama's going around taking jabs at Trump's mental acuity, as if the people in the audience can't remember that Obama and Kamala Harris supported Joe Biden, who literally couldn't speak. I was trying to imitate him there. I mean, he can't get a sentence out. And then you have Biden going around saying we need to lock up Trump.
Well, we've had all those clips.
I know, but I'm just. But when
hold on. Let's see if we can get clip 8 and bring it up just to illustrate this point.
Yeah. Okay.
Because it's Joe Biden, and I mean, if you listen to Joe Biden in this clip,
yeah,
you're thinking this guy. I mean, he doesn't have all his faculties there, but the faculties that he does have are pretty vicious. Here we go, clip 8.
This is a guy who also wants to replace every civil servant, every single one. Thinks he has a right under the Supreme Court ruling on immunity to be able, if need be, if it was the case, to actually physically eliminate, shoot, kill someone who he believes to be a threat to him. I mean, so I know this sounds bizarre. It sounds like if I said this 5 years ago, you'd lock me up. We got to lock him up.
Yeah, I mean, none of that makes any sense.
None of that does. But it shows. But here's the thing: the left, the people who listen to that, and listen to only people who talk like that, and there are people on media. There's plenty of media. If you want to focus only on media that describes Trump as if he is Hitler, you can find it. And now you have the current.
There's an article in the Atlantic that says Hitler's the same as Trump is Hitler.
Yeah, I'm saying, so you can
By
find
the way, do you know
stuff.
who owns the Atlantic?
Who?
Lauren Powell Jobs, the widow of Steve Jobs.
Okay, well, yeah. I mean, so this stuff, but then now you have the sitting president of the United States saying stuff like that.
Then,
and by the way, that can't possibly help Kamala Harris. There are some people who go, yeah, lock him up. But you're talking about maybe 10%. And they're already going to vote for Harris. This didn't pick up a single one. But then you have Bob Woodward. I mean, I'm beginning now to feel sorry for the guy.
Yeah,
I've always thought he was less than honest. I think a lot of things he writes are not provable. In fact, I know they're not provable because he quoted Casey on his deathbed. Well, it's easy to quote somebody on their deathbed if you were the only one claiming to be the only one in the room.
Let me just say to that point, it's like claiming that you've had a conversation today with Jimmy Carter.
Yes.
You cannot have a conversation today with Jimmy Carter.
That's right. And so, but Bob Woodward is claiming that Biden should be given the Nobel Peace Prize. I mean, talk about somebody who's kind of also losing his marbles. Then you have this one. You have Obama, who is trying to help Harris in Arizona. And the University of Colorado football team is about to play the Arizona Wildcats.
That was last week.
Yeah,
but yeah, I know where you're going with
and
this. By the way, let's set it up for our listeners. Some of them may not be sports fans.
Yeah.
But of course, Deion Sanders, the great football player, the great and good baseball player.
Yes.
Who then went into coaching. He's never shy. They call him Primetime.
Primetime.
And he did very well at Jackson State.
Mm-hmm.
And then they hired him at Colorado. Mm-hmm. He started out great last year. The season didn't end well, but this year he started out well.
He's 5-2.
He's 5-2.
Yeah,
and he was last week. He was going down to play Arizona.
Right.
And Barack Obama, who, by the way, Deion Sanders likes Barack Obama.
Yes.
But Barack Obama started bad-mouthing Deion Sanders.
Yeah, started bad-mouthing Colorado Buffaloes because he was trying to get Arizona voters. And it's so, what I'm saying is, Michael, it's so transparent what he's doing. By the way, the end of the story is Colorado beat him, I think, 34-7.
Stomped him.
It was stomped him. And so, and then this one is.
But then Deion came out and said,
yeah.
well, and really, Barack Obama was trash-talking against the Colorado Buffaloes,
yes,
and against Deion Sanders.
Yes.
And Deion kind of took exception to that. He said, well, I love you, bro, but,
Yeah.
shut up about,
this is,
dissing me.
Stick with politics. Don't try to bring sports
Oh,
into
and
it.
by the way, Barack Obama likes to play basketball, but if you've ever seen him, this is not if you see him try to pitch. See him. He doesn't know anything about anything.
No,
sports-wise.
but he was just trying. So he was trying to make a political point. But my point is that they think they can say something and only the people that they want to hear it, and that nobody else hears it.
Yeah.
Or that everybody else forgets. Janet Jackson. This is hysterical. I don't know if you saw this or not. Janet Jackson is now being slammed by the left as irrelevant because here's what she said. I'm going to quote from this article in page 6. Janet Jackson is being called irrelevant and a leech after she questioned Kamala Harris's race in an interview with The Guardian published on Saturday. Here's what she said, quote, "She's not black. That's what I've heard. That she's an Indian. That's what I've heard." And so now Janet Jackson, and you're talking about an icon. The Jackson family is an icon, and so it's just weird. I'm just telling you, to use a Tim Waltz word, the politics today is weird, and then here's another one. This is from CNN, which scolds Waltz for making a false statement about Trump's jobs record as president. Waltz has claimed that Trump lost more manufacturing jobs than any other president. A CNN fact checker says, wait a minute, that's wrong. George Bush lost 4.5 million manufacturing jobs while he was president. That's the worst in modern history. And so it's interesting how the folks who are campaigning for Harris, how they think that they can say or do something that only the people they want to hear will hear it, and that anything they say that contradicts the reality of the recent history. It's like Kamala Harris trying to claim, I want to turn the page, and yet she's the vice president. People look at that, Michael, and they scratch their heads.
Well, speaking of that, turn the page.
Sure.
Gwen Waltz, the loopy wife of the loopy vice presidential nominee.
Yes.
Apparently, she's been received so poorly on the campaign trail, they're not allowing her to go out and speak anymore.
Well, Dougie doesn't go talk anymore either because he's got his own problems. Not only apparently did he have a relationship and knock up the babysitter, but he also apparently had a girlfriend after he got divorced, and he physically assaulted her.
Yeah. According to reports, with three corroborating witnesses, according to reports.
Yeah, it's in the papers, and it was at Kane's, he's never denied it.
Has anyone asked Kamala Harris point blank about that?
I don't think so.
You're supposedly a big defender of women's rights.
That's right.
Your husband knocked up the nanny.
Right.
And then apparently slapped around
his girlfriend. Yeah.
Do you think you should, apologize for his behavior?
Well, that may be why he's not being interviewed, because he doesn't want to get that question. Because the name of the girlfriend is known.
It is known.
I don't. Yeah, it's reported.
She's an attorney in New York City.
Yeah, she's an attorney. I think her name I think it's been in print, but people know who she is. And so,
and by the way, just so you know, if you're that woman, you do not want your name out,
right?
Because what good comes from it?
No,
she's an attorney in New York City, which the legal community in New York City is very far left, and she's got a career to think about. And if her name comes out there, you know what'll happen? They will get the bimbo eruption squad on.
Yes, yeah.
And
so she doesn't. So maybe her name isn't out there. But let me say this: people know who she is because apparently, there, as you say, there are three corroborating witnesses that said that apparently she put her hand on the person who's getting the car, and the story is that he thought she was flirting with him. So anyway, this one is interesting also. This kind of tickles me. Former Obama official credits Trump for reaching young men, says Harris must push back on that. This is Dan Pfeiffer. Is that his name? Pfeffer?
Yeah, Pfeffer.
Dan Pfeffer. And I've looked up his pedigree, and he's been in government or politics his entire adult life.
Right.
Okay? So if there's anybody who is a very white, very elite, very pro-government person, it's this guy.
Yeah.
He knows nothing about what produces wealth in an economy. Nothing. But he is he was a high up Obama official because Obama was attracted to people who thought government solves all problems.
I got 2 breaking stories for you.
Oh, please.
Donald Trump will be on Joe Rogan on Friday.
Yes.
That's big.
Big time.
Kamala Harris in negotiation. She's not going to be on. She couldn't withstand 3 hours of interview. But I got another breaking story.
She couldn't withstand an hour with Joe Rogan because it would be live.
Yeah. Here's the other thing about this. Breaking just now. On October 31st, Donald J. Trump in Arizona will be joining Tucker Carlson's live tour.
Ooh.
That's a good move.
That's a good move.
And in Arizona is a good fit for this, right?
Yes.
Because Arizona, you got the Charlie Kirk connection.
Oh, yes.
He's based in Phoenix.
Yes.
And, of course, our own Arizona Sun-Times.
Yes.
And Rachel Alexander, based in Arizona. We are on top of all that
Now,
stuff.
I have a quick question for you, very quick. And then
10 seconds.
The Supreme Court of Georgia, does that decision on will that make a difference on the hand counting of ballots?
Yeah, it's not a good decision.
Okay.
But we'll see.
All right.
We'll come back with News Potpourri after this.
Tom Carmichael, CEO of Soul Tea, a supplement to help you have a healthier heart and stronger cardiovascular system. At Soul Tea, we regularly get emails from our customers telling us how Soul Tea has helped them. Like this one from Kelly. Hello, I'm 58 years old and have had high cholesterol for years. I wanted to stay away from prescription drugs. My husband and I have been using Soul Tea for about 13 months. My results have been amazing. My cholesterol levels went from 291 to 129. I am so impressed with Soul Tea and want to thank you. Now, in my own case, my bad cholesterol dropped from 130 to 89, and that was 20 years ago. I'm 75 years old and I take 0 prescription drugs. To get a great deal on Soul Tea, please go to GodzillaHeart.com, and when you check out, use the code Godzilla to get our best deal, which is 50% off your first shipment and then 3 bottles for the price of 2 thereafter. You don't have to live with a broken heart.
Do you suffer from
Try
declining
Soul Tea
bone and
today.
joint health? Hi, it's Tina with the John Fredericks Media Network. And when I heard about our company's Women's Challenge, I jumped on the opportunity to test this amazing supplement that's already restoring my bone density, soothing my joint pain, and helping me regain lost mobility. I've experienced so many benefits in such a short time with Native Path Collagen Peptides because they support my bones and joints, boost my metabolism, and unleash the most radiant skin and hair since my 20s. In just 2 weeks, my knee stiffness is gone, and I'm already hitting the gym more aggressively. And I get so many compliments on my glowy skin and shiny hair. Native Path Collagen Peptides are so easy to take. They're tasteless, odorless, and mix great with my morning coffee. Read thousands of 5-star reviews at getnativepath.com/Godzilla. Level up your self-care with Native Path Collagen Peptides. Try it risk-free for as low as $21 today. And get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cell's Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back. It's that time of day again, Crom. It's time for News Potpourri.
Yes, Michael. It's that time in the program for little tidbits that merit the attention of our audience, but not an entire segment and have a touch of
irony.
Yes.
Crom, I'm going to start off with this one. I told you it's going to be news made yesterday by whiny, crying former Republican Adam Kinzinger, former member of Congress. And so this story, you're going to go, are you kidding me? So he went to Missouri with the Democrat Senate candidate, Lucas Kunce. They went to a range and they were shooting long rifles. And the target was sort of like a metal target. And during the course of their shooting the guns, shrapnel bounced off of the metal target and hit a news reporter covering them.
Geez, how close was the news reporter to the target?
Well, they haven't released the tape yet.
Jeez.
But and so there's the Lucas Kunce guy, the Democrat Senate candidate. There is shown images of him administering first aid to the to the reporter who was injured when the Democrat candidate, was shooting at the target by shrapnel.
Oh my gosh.
Now the guy's apparently going to be okay.
Yes, well that's good.
But how embarrassing.
Yes.
And apparently everybody who knows anything about guns say they weren't very safe in the way they did it. They didn't.
Obviously, that's obvious.
It's just hilarious.
Yeah. Well,
it's just hilarious.
Let me say it's hilarious because the reporter's going to be okay.
Yeah. Yes. But that's why.
Yeah.
But one other thing, I've got to bring this up right now. The great Fernando Valenzuela has died.
Oh.
Died at the age of 63.
Oh, gosh.
Fernando Valenzuela, great. He came on. He started Fernando Mania. He was really the first superstar, Mexican American superstar in baseball.
Yeah.
And he came on, 1981, was fabulous. He had a long career, and then ended up. He's been the Spanish language broadcaster for the LA Dodgers since I think 2004. In the playoffs, he said they was going to take some time off for some health issues. They haven't released the cause of death. 63 years old, the great Fernando Valenzuela.
That's young.
Passed away.
That is young. Michael, this is an interesting headline, and I from time to time I bring up what stories that I see about China's China's economic situation. This is an interesting one. The $250 billion rush to get money out of China. This story is talking about how the Chinese people are using crypto, they're using buying art, they're using collectibles, anything they can to try to get money out of China. People in China are trying to do that. And the reason is their property markets are collapsing. And if Trump is reelected, which you and I fully expect him to be reelected, China's economy, they'll have to learn to work with us in a constructive way, or Trump, the tariffs will just wreck them. So that's
so sad.
Yes. Well, no, it's going to be very interesting because until Trump came along in 2016, China held the high hand because everybody believed that global trade was automatically a good thing.
Because the leaders weren't looking at reality.
That's right.
They were looking at their checkbooks.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. The Goya Foods CEO. He is fabulous.
He's good. Yeah.
He is fabulous. He torched Kamala Harris at this big event that Trump attended. That was a Hispanic event where many of the Hispanic business community told Trump what a great job he did in his first 4 years and how many, apparently there are 5 million small business owners who are Hispanic. And that's a lot.
That's a lot.
And small businesses were crushed and are being crushed by Harris's policies.
Crom, do you read The Economist, the sort of globalist operation out of...
Occasionally I'll see an article.
They are now forecasting there's a 56% chance of Trump being elected.
Well, I have a friend of mine who goes to a betting site every day.
Oh, yeah.
And as of yesterday, that betting site, which is a money site,
right,
has a 66% odds of Trump winning, which was up from...
I'm more in line with that. There's also an article on The Hill published early this morning, headline, Democrats fear race may be slipping away from Harris.
Well, and you can find that headline in most publications these days. You know, it's interesting, Nathan Wade, and you may have talked about this in the last day or two. He testified before Congress, but I thought the most interesting...
It was a deposition. Before the House
Judiciary
Committee.
It was private, but apparently some of what he said has been released. But this was from BizPac Review, a quote here, after a considerable rigmarole, Wade's testimony also included an admission to communicating with the January 6th committee and to a meeting with White House officials, though he contended he doesn't remember any of the details of the meeting. And
Crom, let me just say this. If I'm meeting with White House officials, I'm going to remember what that conversation was about.
Of course you are. This one is an interesting story, and I don't know if you all have updated about the fellow who's being prosecuted / persecuted in New York City. And here's what's interesting about the trial: they're claiming that the attorney who's representing the defendant cannot bring up Neely's criminal record. Now the fellow who is on trial, help me with his name. His last name is Penny, and he's been charged with second-degree manslaughter, and the guy that he was choking to try to keep him away from other people on the subway was apparently acting out on the subway and threatening people. And but here's his record. This is according to the article here. Mr. Neely's criminal record.
You got 30 seconds.
42 arrests for crimes ranging from theft to assault. In 2021,
it's a long criminal record.
Long criminal record, but that's not going to be able to be brought up at trial.
Yeah, it sounds like the fix is in. Crom, thanks for joining us today.
You bet.
All right, that's it for our show today. We'll do this again tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. I hope everyone has a great day. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy. Go to our site, TennesseeStar.com. This is Michael Patrick Leahy. I want to say a word about my good friend Dustin Damon. Dustin is the best handyman in Middle Tennessee. Call Dustin today at 724-683-4400. That's 724-683-4400 if you have a job around the house that you just haven't gotten around to. If you're busy like me, you just may not have the time to fix that broken mailbox, repair the back porch, or get that old light fixture back to working properly. Do what I did. Call Dustin Damon today at 724-683-4400, and he will bring his truck and tools to your house and get that job done lickety-split. Dustin's main service area is Williamson County and the southern part of Davidson County. So call Dustin Damon, the best handyman in Middle Tennessee today, at 724-683-4400. Tell him you heard about him on the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. The Chief Team reminds listeners here that more and more veterans will be returning home over the next few years, and many are local. These heroes have elite military training and valuable professional skills, but they also need jobs too. That's why the Chief Team is encouraging all local businesses. Let's make it the year we hire smart and hire veterans. That's from the Chief Team, where they say service isn't just a courtesy, it's a commitment. For more information, call 931-444-3572. That's 931-444-3572 for the Chief Team in Clarksville.
The Black preaching tradition is deeply connected to gospel music.
PBS presents a new series hosted by Henry Louis Gates Jr., Gospel.
Our singers preach and our preachers sing.
Gospel is a prayer. It is our heart's cry to God in lyrics and song.
You feel it
Streaming now on the PBS app.